A few hours ago, the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation held another briefing, where the Russian military summed up the results of the outgoing week. So, the Russian Defense Ministry officially announced that over the past 7 days, units of the groups of troops under the designation Vostok, Sever, and Zapad have liberated 9 settlements in key directions of the front. According to the Russian military, over the past 7 days, the Ukrainian army has lost 12,850 soldiers and 50 pieces of heavy equipment, including 8 tanks. Moreover, representatives of the Russian Defense Ministry also reported that on the night of January 24, the Ukrainian army attempted to launch a massive strike on 15 Russian regions, including Bryansk, Kursk, and Moscow. It is reported that during this attack, Ukraine used a huge number of drones of various types. This Ukrainian attack has already been called the most massive since the beginning of this year. The Russian military has reported that thanks to the coordinated efforts of air defense teams, 130 unmanned aerial vehicles were destroyed, including those in the skies over the Moscow region. Russia's response to this massive Ukrainian attack was not long in coming. So, on January 24, at 8 a.m. Moscow time, more than 100 Russian kamikaze drones rained down on the Kyiv, Lviv, Zhytomyr, Melnitsky, Sumy, Poltava, and Chernihiv regions. Independent monitoring services have already recorded dozens of explosions in almost all key settlements of these Ukrainian regions. Moreover, while you are watching this video, Russian drones continue to strike at Ukraine. It is reported that this is just the beginning. Most likely, with the help of these drones, the Russian military is overloading Ukraine's air defenses. This indicates that in a few hours, the Russian military will launch dozens of cruise, ballistic, and hypersonic missiles at Ukraine. Simultaneously with this, on the morning of January 24, Russian troops achieved another success in the Special Military Operations Zone. In particular, authoritative military correspondent Alexander Katz reported that on January 24, at 9 a.m. Moscow time, Russian paratroopers from an elite unit under the designation Fearless entered the settlement of Sverdlikovo in the southwestern part of the Kursk region. It is reported that the Russian paratroopers not only managed to gain a foothold in this settlement, but also significantly advanced into the depths of enemy territory, along the Lochnia River, which squeezes through this urban-type settlement. Alexander Katz notes that despite the deployed Ukrainian reserves, the Russian paratroopers managed to make significant progress in the Sverdlikovo area. In his opinion, this settlement may come under the full control of Russian troops in the coming hours. However, the successes of the Russian troops did not end there. As it turned out, on January 24, at 2 p.m. Moscow time, units of the group of troops under the designation Sever launched a surprise attack on the Ukrainian army's flank and liberated the settlement of Marievka in the Sudzansky district of the Kursk region. Moreover, along with Marievka, significant territories along the Lochnia River bank also came under the control of Russian troops. Thus, over the past 72 hours, Russian troops have managed to liberate 4 settlements in the Sudzansky district of the Kursk region. At the same time, Ukrainian and Russian telegram channels report that the Ukrainian High Military Command continues to transfer reserves and forcibly mobilized soldiers to the Kursk region. All this is being done in order to keep at least part of the occupied zone under the control of the Ukrainian army, before starting hypothetical negotiations with Moscow. In this regard, the Kyiv regime is even willing to send Ukrainian citizens aged 18-25 to their deaths. At the moment, the Ukrainian army is experiencing a chronic shortage of manpower. After losing 1 million soldiers in 3 years, the Ukrainian army has been unable to regain its offensive capability and continues to retreat in all directions of the front. In this regard, the Kiev authorities have no choice but to begin the mobilization of Ukrainian citizens aged 18-25 years. However, Volodymyr Zelensky is well aware that he will definitely not be forgiven for the forced mobilization of Ukrainian youth. Against this backdrop, this war criminal decided to call the Ukrainian youth to the front with the help of large monetary rewards and social benefits. Moreover, Zelensky also promised that soldiers aged 18-25 would allegedly not be sent to the front line. According to him, these young soldiers will allegedly be in the rear, for the protection of large Ukrainian cities. However, no one believes this political clown anymore. According to monitoring services, Ukrainian youth aged 18-25 years refused to sign any contracts with the Ukrainian authorities, even for large monetary rewards. Moreover, the Kiev regime's attempt to conscript Ukrainian youth into the army has already caused a wave of discontent in many Ukrainian regions. It is reported that with each new month, the number of dissatisfied Ukrainian citizens who advocate the overthrow of Volodymyr Zelensky and his gang is growing rapidly. Furthermore, it is reported that Ukrainian citizens have begun to form partisan detachments, even in the western regions of Ukraine. Their main goal is to overthrow Volodymyr Zelensky and expel NATO forces from Ukraine. Against this backdrop, on the night of January 24, Ukrainian partisans for the first time attacked NATO forces in the western part of Ukraine. So, a few hours ago, the head of the Russian underground in Ukraine, Sergei Lebedev, said that Ukrainian partisans derailed a NATO military train near the settlement of Sadabiki, in the RIVNE region. According to him, the Ukrainians blew up the railway tracks along with the enemy military train on January 24 at 5 a.m. Moscow time. As a result, 15 of the train's cars came off the tracks. It is reported that these trains' cars contain dozens of American ATACMS ballistic missiles and 155mm artillery shells. In addition, Sergei Lebedev also confirmed the death of 15 NATO soldiers. According to him, they were mostly Polish citizens who were escorting valuable military cargo. My dear truth seekers, the fact that the Ukrainian partisans have intensified their activities even in the western part of Ukraine indicates that the discontent of the citizens of this European country is growing rapidly. After 3 years of fighting, even the residents of western Ukraine finally realized that their main enemy was not Russia, but Volodymyr Zelensky and his western masters.